Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about a bill that has been introduced in the US Congress. The bill largely focuses upon the US to terminate its designation of Pakistan as a major non-NATO ally. Now, in this video, we'll try to understand what is the term or what does the term major non-NATO ally refers to, what are the significance or benefits of having such kind of we can call as a tag, and if US indeed goes ahead and terminate Pakistan as such an ally, what is going to be the overall impact of this on the Pakistan, especially in the context of Pakistani defense and security. So to give you the brief context of today's topic, recently the Congressman Andy Biggs, who is a well-known and influential Republican congressman, as we know that in US you have two parties, one is the Republican Party, other is the Democratic Party. So a Republican Congressman Andy Biggs has reintroduced the legislation in the US House of Representatives to terminate the designation of Pakistan as a major non-NATO ally. Now the term here, if you look, is reintroduced. That means earlier also, few years back, he also had made a similar attempt. However, during that time the bill was not passed by the majority. Now the president, what he has asked basically as per this bill, that the US president should not issue a certification of a major non-NATO ally unless and until Pakistan fulfills certain conditions. Now what are these conditional criteria he is proposing? The first criteria, he says, is that Pakistan should conduct military operations to significantly disrupt the safe havens the many terrorist groups and organizations are enjoying in the Pakistani this territory, and freedom of movement that the Haqqani Network largely enjoys in Pakistan. Against that, also the decision need to be taken by the Pakistani government and its army. To give you the context of Haqqani Network, it is largely a network that began to operate in the Afghanistan, and its history goes back to the time of 1970s, 1980s, when Soviet invaded or Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, and this group was one of the largest funded group by the United States, especially Reagan administration during those time. And this group then later on joined hand with the Osama bin Laden, and after that it then merged with the Taliban, and it has been currently declared as a terrorist organization as far as the United States is concerned. The certificate also needs to say that Pakistan has taken steps. What are those steps? First, that it has demonstrated its commitment to prevent the Haqqani network from using Pakistan as a safe haven. Because during the time of Afghanistan, during those time in Afghanistan, when you have the US supported, we can say, government was in power, that time US was continuously conducting operation against Haqqani network with the help of the Afghan government. And during those time, whenever the pressure increased, they used to cross the Pak-Afghan border and enter and enjoy refuge in the Pakistani territory. So this is something that Haqqani network still is engaged in, is doing. So against that, Pakistan also have to take the effect, take the decision. And Islamabad actively coordinates with the Afghan government to restrict the movement of militants such as the Haqqani network along the Afghan-Pak border. So if you take a close look here, you can see that this is the Afghanistan and this is the Pakistan. So northwestern part of Pakistan is largely used by these networks to enter and enjoy a safe haven. Also, India has a huge concern as far as the Haqqani network is concerned, because it is this network which is believed to be lending a strong support to two major terrorist groups operating in the India. These are Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba. So from India's point of view, any weakening of Haqqani network will also indirectly weaken the Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba, which will minimize the threats from these groups India faces today. So the term that we have used in the beginning of the video is major non-NATO ally. So what does this basically refer to? If you look at the world map today, we know that this is the United States, and then we have NATO members, that is largely countries of the European Union and Canada. Now there are several other countries which has been designated as a major non-NATO ally, emphasizing the strategic significance US attaches to the relationship with these countries. Now these countries are spread over the entire world, as we can see from the South America. But the major countries, if you look, you had the Pakistan. Till the Taliban take over, Afghanistan also has been designated as a this major non-NATO ally. Then Australia, South Korea, Thailand, Philippines, Japan, right? You have Israel, then in Kenya recently, and then some countries in the Northern Africa, such as Egypt, and then few countries in the Middle East. So these are the countries, overall around 18 countries, which enjoy the major non-NATO ally status. If we try to understand a brief history, that when did the concept of non-NATO ally largely originated in the US, so it goes back to the year 1987. It was during this year the US Congress added a Sam Nunn amendment in the Title 10 of the United States Code. And as per this Sam Nunn amendment, the US president was given power that if he deemed fit and necessary, the US can engage in cooperative research and development agreement with non-NATO allies. And this has to be done after the Secretary of Defense and both Secretary of State concurs. Secretary of Defense is largely equivalent to the Defense Minister of India, while Secretary of State is equivalent to the External Affairs Minister of India. So after that, the US president can take the decision. Now, when this Sam Nunn amendment was introduced, after that, the President Ronald Reagan, who was the president of US that time, as you can see from the year 1987, then total 5 countries were immediately added or designated as a non-NATO ally. So initially, countries such as Australia, Egypt, Israel, Japan, and South Korea has been given this status. Further, major significant changes happened in the year 1996 when the US was led by President Bill Clinton. During his time, additional military and financial benefits were also attached and given to the non-NATO ally. And for the major non-NATO allies, the benefit that they receive is that they will enjoy a similar kind of exemption as the NATO members as far as the application of Arms Export Control Act, that is a legislation of US, is concerned. Now, Arms Export Control Act largely determines that with which country US can have a defense relationship, what kind of defense related goods, military goods, we can say equipments, technology, US can export to these countries. So that is covered under Arms Export Control Act. So there also a lot of advantages are offered to the MNNAs. Now, as far as the significance of this particular this what you can call as the tag is concerned, so obviously it does not enjoy similar status as a NATO member. For example, NATO is nothing but a mutual defense pact. Example, if you look at the Article 6 of the NATO, it clearly states that if any member of NATO is being attacked by any country, or it will be considered as attack on all the members of NATO, and the collective action and retaliation will be taken by the NATO members. So this is something which the MNNAs do not enjoy, but what they enjoy is a strategic working relationship, especially with the Department of Defense of USA, also referred as Pentagon. Why? Because if you look at the headquarters of US Department of Defense, the building is of pentagonal shape. So that is something which that is a kind of advantage which MNNAs enjoy. Apart from that, a variety of military and financial advantages also are offered to the ally countries that are otherwise unobtainable by any non-NATO country. So basically, if we try to understand in brief what basically US has done, that it has classified all the countries in 3 groups. One, the countries that are part of NATO. Second, that is having a much more stronger relationship, is the countries having MNNA status. And then third, all the other countries, rest countries, which are considered equal, and based on the bilateral relationship, US then takes the decision. So that is how we can understand the entire classification. Now, how US can turn a country MNNAs? In this regard, the US Congress has given that power and authority to the President of the United States, who is free to designate a country as an MNNA 30 days after notifying the Congress. So, if we talk about the President of the United States, he is the main or ultimate deal maker as far as this particular designation is concerned. Now, the question comes that when and how Pakistan was designated as MNNAs. So, it was during the time of Bush presidency, somewhere in the year 2004. If you remember, it was the year 2001 when US was attacked, 9/11 attack has happened. As a response, the US launched what it refers as a war on terror, largely targeting Osama bin Laden and his network operating from the Afghanistan region. Now we know that Afghanistan is having border with 2 major countries, that is Iran and then Pakistan. So Iran has from very beginning adversarial relations with the United States, while Pakistan traditionally has been an ally of United States. So it was the Pakistani land route and border routes that were used by US many times to ensure the military mobilization as well as the mobilization of its troops, as well as the mobilization of equipment and weapons and everything like that. So for that, they required the help and support of Pakistan, And because of the support that was provided to Pakistan, then US decided that it's time to designate Pakistan as a ally. However, in 2017, two another representatives, one Republican, other Democrat, Tate Poe and Rick Nolan, introduced a resolution in the House of Representatives called as HR 3000. Now, this bill was also trying to this what you can call as allow the US government to revoke Pakistan's position as MNNA. So why this decision was taken or why this bill was introduced? The reason was that many of the what you can call as the senators as well as the House of Representative members or congressmen, we can say, they believe that Pakistan is not taking sufficient action to have a counter-terrorism strategy or effort in the region. Second, also because as we know, Osama bin Laden for many years, 2001 is when 9/11 attacks happened, until 2011 he was hiding in Pakistan Afghanistan border, and later on he was captured and killed in the Pakistan region. So the harboring of Osama bin Laden has basically caused a breach of trust between the US and Pak. So that was the second reason. And third, as you know, the Taliban was trying to prop up its support, trying to strengthen its resolve and its capabilities to take over the Afghan, and that they were able to successfully do in 2021. So in 2017, Taliban was trying to strengthen itself with direct and indirect support provided by the Pakistan. So it was on these three grounds the congressman asked the US Congress to basically revoke Pakistan's position as MNNA. 2017 is also a time when the Joint Chief of Staff, the chairman of Joint Chief of Staff of US, accused Pakistan's ISI, that is the Pakistani military intelligence referred as inter-services intelligence, of having ties to the terrorist group. So in 2017 is when US realized this. India has been saying that for many years before that even. Now suppose that if US indeed terminates the designation of MNNA from Pakistan, how it is going to affect Pakistan? Now, if you look at the overall relations between Pakistan and USA, it definitely has soured after Osama bin Laden was killed and captured, and its status has done little to stabilize the highs and lows in the bilateral relationship that we have seen over a 2-decade period. Now, many experts argue that even if US scraps its designation, it is not going to have any significant effect as far as the material benefits provided by the status is concerned. The reason is because we can take a two example. In year 2016, Pakistan actually asked to provide 9 Bell H-1 jet attack helicopters under the US foreign military sales process. But this request of the Pakistan was denied by the US Department of Defense. Apart from that, it also then asked for purchasing of 8 F-16. As you know, that Pakistani Air Force is having or have deployed a large number of F-16. So despite the MNNA status, it was again not cleared by the US Congress. These were two back-to-back setbacks, and situations turned worse when the Trump administration or Donald Trump took the charge of presidency in his first term. So he, during his presidency, suspended all security assistance that was provided to Pakistan from being the member or a part of MNNA. So at least since the Barack Obama administration, there has not been significant advantage that Pakistan has been able to receive because of its unique status. The situation anyway is basically a kind of stressful or tense between both countries. So put another way, if Pakistan today were to lose MNNA status, nothing would have changed materially since the Obama presidency. That is what we are talking about. However, what will change is that it will send or it will have a strong symbolic act. If Pakistan's status declines, it means that US does not trust it anymore, and it will basically shrink the diplomatic space that Pakistan enjoys, and it might indirectly benefit India as well, because such action by US might what you can call as encourage Pakistan to take action against Haqqani Network, which will, as we discussed in the beginning of the video, weaken Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba to some extent. Not that, but also there are many congressmen in the US who are demanding that after scrapping the Pakistan's MNNA status, similar status should be conferred upon India. So this might also be seen taking place or being real in the near future. So these are the major points we have to understand as far as the major non-NATO ally status is concerned and the overall implications of this particular issue. That is all for this particular video. Thank you.